The sugar disease, that's what type 2 diabetes is. And it can get progressively worse unless we deal with it. It's caused by the system. Our body is just being overwhelmed with the amount of sugar in our modern diet, and we have to do something about it. So, as I say, it will get progressively worse and can lead on to heart disease, cancer, and Alzheimer's. Today, I'm going to take you through 4 crucial steps. This is what I did to get myself sorted out and into remission from this disease. My name is Graham, and as I say, I've had type 2 diabetes. I've got myself into remission. I was overweight, and now I'm back into my healthy BMI range, and I've worked out what to do, and I can help you do the same. The good news here is that most of us can get into remission from type 2 diabetes. It can become a thing of the past. It's quite straightforward, but it's not easy, as I'm sure a lot of people, well, millions across the world, millions and millions across the world will know. So the strategy, if you like, the game plan, the aim of managing diabetes and getting us into remission is the control of insulin. Insulin runs the show when it comes to sugar and our metabolisms, and that's what we have to get into control. So what should we be doing? Well, I'm going to give you 4 things to start doing, which you can start doing today. In outline, our diet should be structured like this. The 3 macronutrients, and there's only 3 types of macronutrients: fat, protein, and carbohydrate. Fat, the diet should be high in fat. These are healthy, natural fats. It should be moderate in protein, and it should be low in carbohydrate. High fat, moderate protein, low in carbohydrate. And if you are trying to lose weight and maybe don't have diabetes, but you probably do, the fact you're watching this, it should be very low in carbohydrates. If you are diabetic and therefore trying to get into remission, it should be very, very low in carbohydrate. Now, you need to work out how much carbohydrate you can eat a day. I call it the carbohydrate daily budget. Mine is about 130 grams of net carbohydrate. Let me explain how this works. Net carbs is the total carbs of eating a certain amount of food less the fiber, because the fiber is fine for us. So if we eat 100 grams of bread, there's 49 grams of carbohydrate in that 100 grams of bread, and there's only 3 grams of fiber. So 49 less 3 gives you 46. That's the amount of net carbs in 100 grams of bread, 46. And let's contrast that to avocado. Eat 100 grams of avocado. There's only total carbohydrate of 9 grams in that, 7 of which is fiber. So 9 less 7, 2. There's only 2 grams of net carbs in avocado. Just compare that: 46 in bread, 2 grams in net carbs in avocado, and you can see how quickly your daily budget, and as I say, mine is 130 grams of net carbs, gets very quickly used up if you're eating things like bread. How you arrive at your daily budget, probably best I can help you with this, but you also perhaps need to just take some more advice with your medical practitioner, doctors, but it will depend very much on your weight and also your activity as to what that net carb amount per day should be. So that's the reason why, as you can see when you look at it in terms of net carbs, how some of these foods likes of grains and potatoes, etc., very quickly use up your net carb budget, and it doesn't last very long at all. So that's the first one. I'll do other videos about this, explaining more detail, but we only have so much time today. The next thing to do is exercise. Now, a very famous nutritionist talks about this, and he says if you were to compare diet and exercise, they are the Batman and Robin in terms of relationship. Batman does all the real work, and Robin's there as in support, in a supporting role. So diet is very much the Batman. Exercise is the Robin side of the equation, but it's still very useful to what we can do in getting ourselves out of diabetes. And there are two aspects to exercise. There's cardiovascular work, and then there's what I would call resistance training. Cardiovascular work, I try to average 7,500 steps a day. The important thing of doing this, obviously, it gets the system going, but also it's very effective at using up blood sugar as well. And then resistance training, and the likes of press ups, sit ups, you may have some weights or whatever, and you may be a part of a gym. That is very effective at actually building muscle. Larger muscle mass means that your metabolism increases, and so therefore uses up the energy in your system effectively. So that's exercise. That's number two. Number three is fasting. I'm really very keen on fasting. I think it has a great deal of benefits for us. It gives us yes, in simple terms, it gives the metabolism the opportunity actually just to reset itself, to reduce the amount of blood sugar and therefore reduce the amount of insulin in our systems back to normal levels. The system I use and I advocate is an intermittent fasting system of 16-hour fast and 8-hour eating window, so 16-8. And during that 16-hour fast, I limit myself to black coffee, black tea, green tea, water. And then I have an eating window of 8 hours, and I don't, I eat plenty of food during that 8 hours, so I just limit it to that 8-hour period. There are benefits to have much longer periods. There's a system called autophagy, which the body goes into to renew its cells. But that looks to be, if you need to be, the research isn't exactly clear on this, it looks to be up towards a 24-hour period for that autophagy system to start to work. And on these longer sustained periods of when you're fasting, I think you need probably need to seek some medical advice to make sure it's in your particular case it's safe to do it. But for me, the 16-8-hour system works very well, and I don't feel hungry during that 16-hour period of fasting. I don't feel hungry. It's surprising how quickly the body starts to adapt to it. It just knows it's not going to get any food before 11 o'clock in the morning. The last one I want to talk about, point 4, is lifestyle. Two aspects to this in particular I want to talk about: that's sleep and stress. On the sleep side of things, I recommend a 7 to 8 hours sleep per night, a good sleep of 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night. I think that does the body a great deal of good and helps to reset itself. And of course, then that actually helps the other aspect, which is to do with stress. Stress is a major problem for so many of us in our modern lives. It's damaging to us mentally and also physically as well. Because what it does, it causes the release of cortisol, and this inhibits the effectiveness of insulin. It needs managing. I'll do another video about this because stress is important. Okay, so I'd like to give you some more help. Generally, I've recorded for you a new free video that explains in quite some detail what I have done to get myself down in weight, instant under control, into remission. I'll put a link to this below. And also it gives you an opportunity to not only just to watch this, but then to book a call with me to see if I can be of any further help for you in your journey to achieve remission from diabetes. As I say, the link will be below this video. I wish you the best of health. Talk to you again soon.